Welcome back, everyone. Time to move on to the next performance expectation. So glad you're back, and this is just random enough that I had to include it. I don't know what the deal is with this guy, but here we go. So we are moving on with our ecology unit. If you remember in the beginning, the first thing that we were set to do was to look at the effects of resources on organisms. We talked about abiotic and biotic. What are the things that we need to be able to survive within an ecosystem? Next, we looked at patterns. So we were looking at patterns of how those individuals interact with each other once in the ecosystem. So the first one was about the materials themselves. The second one, 3B, is about how they interact. We looked at those pyramids of individuals where you'd have to have more organisms on the bottom than the things that are feeding off of them, moving up to the keystone species at the top. Beyond that, we then started to look at how things can flow through a food web, which is what we finished in the last one for 3C, where we made models of matter flowing through an ecosystem as we move from sunlight to plants, then plants to the ground, then the ground to other plants or animals as they might eat the decomposing matter. Which brings us to our next performance expectation, 3D. We're going to construct an argument this time. So no model building for this one, even though you will be doing an experiment if you so choose. Construct an argument supported by empirical evidence that changes to physical or biological components of an ecosystem affect populations. So what we're essentially doing now is, now that we see an ecosystem built, what happens if the environment itself changes? How does that affect the populations that live within? So we're going to be thinking about how to pull out that SEP and cross-cutting concept, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into that. So in order to do so, we're going to figure out what we're doing, what you will need to know, and what that theme is. So as we always do, I'm going to have you grab a whiteboard and a marker or a pen and pencil. And we're going to break down the performance expectation like we always do. So the website is up at the top there, the bit.ly, and you're going to utilize that in order to get things broken down. Okay, assuming that you are now up and running and ready to go, what is our SEP going to be? We already kind of discussed it in going through the performance expectation, but we're going to find out the SEP by utilizing the website as we always do. Now, which one do you think it's going to be before we pause you and have you take off? If you take a look at the list right there, you should be able to find it pretty easily. Okay, we are back. I hope everybody was able to figure that out on their own before looking it up. But either way is fine at this point. So we are going to be constructing an argument supported by evidence. So the evidence is going to be, if you're doing the project, for example, the data that you collect so that you can use that data to make an argument. I can see this happening. These numbers tell me that this might be something that I can argue. So we're going to move on to the DCI, and as we have been doing since distance learning, I would like you to also read that clarifying statement within the bottom drop-down menu there to see the assessment boundary as well. All right, so go ahead and see if you can find that, and we'll be right back. All right, that one usually does take a little while longer, but hopefully we're all back on the same page again. So where we are heading to next is the cross-cutting concept. But as we always do, please think first. This one should be a little bit trickier than they have been, but let's see what you can do. Go back and read the performance expectation and think to yourself, what would that cross-cutting concept be? After you have made some intelligent choices and justifications, look for the actual answer, and then we will get back together again. So what is that theme? What do you think the cross-cutting concept will be? Here's your options if you want to take a peruse through them. Okay, we are back. Hopefully some of you were able to think through that and come up with stability and change. So we are looking to see how the environment is stable until changed by some kind of a physical or biological component that is changing. Okay, so we can close it down right there for today. I think I ended up skipping a slide, but oh well. So we can stop at this point, and for today, your password is charts. So use the word charts for your password for today. Okay, I hope that makes sense for everybody, and we will talk soon. If you have any questions, you can always come into one of our drop-in meetings. All right, take care.